The mindset virus that is killing your motivation. There's a virus that has infected millions upon millions of people across the globe. It's a silent pandemic, one that doesn't announce itself with a cough or a fever. You can't test for it, you can't see it, but you can feel it. It's not in your body, it's in your mind, and it's silently, methodically, killing your motivation. It whispers to you in moments of doubt. It convinces you to play it safe, to stick to the familiar, to avoid the very challenges that are meant to help you grow. It's the reason you look at a new skill and think, I'm just not built for that, or face a setback and feel an overwhelming urge to simply quit. This is the story of the fixed mindset virus and the scientific cure that can reboot your potential. Because what if I told you that the nagging, persistent belief that you just weren't born with it, whether it is math skills, artistic talent, leadership, or anything else, is a complete and utter lie? What if the limits you think you have are not real walls, but merely illusions? Stay with me, because we're about to uncover the truth about your potential, and it is more vast than you have ever been led to believe. Section 1. The diagnosis, the virus. This virus, this fixed mindset, doesn't present with physical symptoms. There's no fever, no cough. It's a silent infection of your belief system. Its symptoms are far quieter, but in the long run, they are much more devastating to your success, your fulfillment, and your happiness. It often masquerades as practicality, as just being realistic. It tells you it's protecting you, when in reality, it's imprisoning you. Maybe, as I describe its telltale signs, you'll recognize the subtle ways this virus has been operating in your own life. Have you ever been in a meeting at work and an opportunity for a challenging new project comes up? A project that could lead to a promotion, that could teach you a new skill, but it's outside your comfort zone. And in that split second, you feel a wave of fear. The voice in your head says, "Don't volunteer, you'll be exposed. Everyone will see you don't know what you're doing." So you stay silent. You let the opportunity pass you by, not because you couldn't do it, but because you were afraid of looking stupid while you learned. That's a symptom. Or think about a time you received tough, constructive feedback. Perhaps from a boss, a mentor, or even a friend. The feedback was meant to help you, to show you a blind spot. But instead of hearing it as valuable data, you felt a pit in your stomach. It didn't feel like advice. It felt like a judgment. A personal attack. The words, "You could improve this," were translated in your mind to, "You are not good enough." You might have even gotten defensive, explaining away the feedback instead of absorbing it because the alternative, accepting you have a flaw, felt too threatening. That's a symptom too. And perhaps the most common symptom of all, have you ever hit a wall on a project, a diet, a new hobby, and just walked away? You're learning a new instrument, and your fingers feel clumsy. You're trying to understand a complex financial report, and the numbers swim before your eyes. You're at the gym, and you can't hit that new personal best, and the thought lands with a heavy finality. Well, I guess I'm just not a music person, or I'm just not a math person. I'm just not athletic. And with that thought, you grant yourself permission to quit. You label yourself, and in doing so, you close the door on any possibility of future growth in that area. If you're nodding along, even slightly, you've likely been infected with what Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck calls a fixed mindset. Dweck, a pioneering researcher in motivation and personality psychology, has spent decades studying why some people thrive in the face of challenges while others crumble. Her work revealed that our success isn't just about talent or luck. It's profoundly influenced by the hidden beliefs we hold about our own abilities. These beliefs act as the operating system for our minds, quietly dictating our responses to everything life throws at us. Think of the fixed mindset as a virus of belief. It's the deep, often unconscious, idea that your intelligence, your talents, and your fundamental abilities are fixed traits, like your eye color or your height. You have a certain amount, and that's your deal for life. You're either a natural at something, or you're not. This isn't a conscious choice. It's a conclusion you've drawn from years of subtle cues from parents, teachers, and society itself. It's the myth of the gifted child, the born leader, the natural artist. This virus loves the idea of permanent qualities because it creates a constant, nagging, underlying pressure to yourself. If you believe you only have a finite amount of smarts, then every single task, from a presentation at work to a casual game with friends, becomes a high-stakes test. It's a test that could expose your limits. And so, to protect your ego from that perceived exposure, you start to play it safe. You build a world around yourself that is comfortable and predictable. You stick to what you know. You avoid risks. You shy away from challenges. Because in the world of the fixed mindset, failure isn't just an unpleasant outcome. It feels like a final verdict. It's a permanent stamp on your file, confirming your biggest, deepest fear. You just don't have what it takes. This is why people with a fixed mindset can plateau early in their careers, trapped by the success that now feels too risky to jeopardize. And here is the sneakiest, most destructive part of this virus. It whispers to you that is a sign of weakness. People deeply infected with a fixed mindset often believe that if you were smart, talented, things would just come easily. The hero in the movie never needs a montage of studying. The musical prodigy just. This myth is everywhere in our culture, celebrating effortless genius and overlooking the grueling practice behind it. So, if you have to work hard, if you have to struggle, the virus tells you it must mean you're an imposter, that you're not good enough in the first place. This is the most dangerous symptom of all, because it paralyzes your motivation. It makes you afraid of the very thing required for growth: trying. It puts a hard, invisible ceiling on what you can achieve, all because of a belief you never even realized you had. Section 2. The science, the cure. But what if I told you there's a powerful antidote? An evidence-based cure, backed by decades of neurological and psychological research, that can wipe out this virus by fundamentally rewiring your brain for motivation. This cure isn't a magic pill or a fleeting burst of inspiration. It's a different way of thinking, a new operating system for your mind. It's called the growth mindset, and it's grounded in the hard science of your own brain. It's about understanding the biological engine of learning so you can finally take the driver's seat. The cure is built on a revolutionary discovery about the brain, the principle of neuroplasticity. For a very long time, scientists believed the brain was like a machine, that it was largely fixed and unchangeable after childhood. But we now know that the brain is much more like a muscle or a dense, living forest. It's adaptable, it's malleable, and it can physically form and reorganize its connections throughout your entire life. Think of it like a city's road network. You're not stuck with the roads you were born with. You are the city planner, constantly building new highways, widening busy streets, and letting old, unused dirt tracks fade away. Every time you learn something new, every time you wrestle with a hard problem, every time you push yourself just beyond your current abilities, you are literally changing your brain's physical structure. The neurons in your brain form new, stronger connections. Pathways that are used frequently become faster and more efficient, like a well-trodden path in a forest. Pathways you stop using become weaker and are eventually pruned away. Those moments of intense struggle, where you feel like you're banging your head against a wall trying to understand something, that's not a sign that you're failing. That is the feeling of your brain growing stronger. It's the biological signal that new construction is underway. That is the sensation of neuroplasticity in action, building new pathways for that skill. This is where Dr. Carol Dweck's work becomes so game-changing. She found that people who instinctively understand this, who believe their abilities can be developed through effort and learning, operate with a growth mindset. They see challenges not as threats to their ego, but as exciting opportunities to get better. They believe effort is the very thing that activates their intelligence and makes them smarter. When they fail or hit a setback, they don't see it as a verdict on their worth. They see it as data, a lesson, a puzzle, and a launchpad for their next attempt. This simple shift in belief transforms the entire experience of learning. It turns the frustration of a mistake into the curiosity of a detective looking for clues. The neurological difference between these two mindsets is staggering, and it's not just theoretical. In one landmark study, Dweck and her colleagues watched people's brain activity using EEG monitors as they made mistakes on a task. The brains of those with a fixed mindset showed very little activity after an error. It was as if they were mentally running away, avoiding the very information that told them they had failed, likely because the emotional response of being wrong was too threatening. Their brain essentially shut down the learning process at the most critical moment, protecting their ego at the expense of their growth. But the brains of people with a growth mindset lit up with activity. Specifically, an area of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex, which is related to learning and error monitoring, became highly active. They were actively processing their mistakes, paying close attention to the correct information, and learning from what went wrong so they could do better the next time. Their brains were literally rewiring for future success in the very moment of failure. They weren't just getting the answer right. They were building a better brain, one that was more resilient, more attentive, and more capable of learning from experience. This is the biology of a comeback. Now, it's important to be clear, this isn't a magic wand. Research shows that context matters. Adopting a growth mindset isn't a universal fix for every person in every situation, especially when facing systemic barriers or a lack of resources. True growth also requires opportunity and support. But understanding this fundamental biological reality of your brain is the first crucial step. It's the key that unlocks the door. Adopting a growth mindset gives your brain the permission it needs to do what it does best: adapt, learn, and grow. It systematically swaps the paralyzing fear of not being good enough for the energizing thrill of becoming better. It's the difference between seeing a wall and seeing a staircase. Section 3. The prescription: actionable steps. So, how do you actually administer this cure? How do you uninstall the fixed mindset virus and reboot your mind with a growth mindset operating system? This isn't about wishful thinking or ignoring reality. It's about actively rewiring the neural pathways that have been holding you back. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens through conscious, deliberate practice. These aren't quick fixes, but foundational habits. Here are 3 simple but profoundly powerful prescriptions you can start using today to begin that process. Prescription number 1. The power of yet. The first and most immediate action you can take is to change the way you talk to yourself. Your internal monologue is the programming language of your mind. The fixed mindset loves to use absolute, definitive, dead-end statements. Things like, "I can't do this," "I'm not a public speaker," "I'm terrible at managing money," "I'll never understand this." These phrases are like slamming a door shut in your own mind. They are verdicts, not observations. The cure is to add one tiny 3-letter word to the end of these statements. Yet. I can't do this. I'm not a public speaker. I'm terrible at managing money. I don't understand this. This small word is a neurological and psychological game changer. It reframes a permanent state into a temporary one. It transforms a dead end into a journey. It acknowledges the present reality of the struggle without accepting that struggle as a permanent condition. It's not about lying to yourself or engaging in toxic positivity. It's about building a bridge from where you are now to where you could be. It signals to your brain that this is a process, not a verdict, which opens the door for effort, strategy, and learning. Adding yet is like telling your brain, don't shut down. The learning process is still active. We're still on the path. It's a commitment to future growth, a promise that you haven't given up. Try this today. Take a moment to identify one fixed mindset statement you've told yourself recently. Write it down. Now, rewrite it with yet at the end. Feel the shift. That simple addition opens up a world of possibility. Prescription number 2. Praise the process, not the person. The fixed mindset virus gets stronger every time we praise innate, fixed traits. When we tell a child, "You're so smart," or tell ourselves, "I'm just a natural at this," we are reinforcing the core idea that ability is something you, not something you. The problem with this is devastatingly simple. What happens when that person, who has been told they are smart, eventually struggles with something? Their internal logic says, "This is hard. If it's hard, that must mean I'm not so smart after all." This can lead to a fear of trying anything that might challenge that smart label, creating a fragile identity that shatters at the first sign of difficulty. The prescription is to shift your praise, for others and for yourself, away from the person and onto the. This means celebrating the effort, the strategies used, the persistence shown, the improvement made, and the focus applied. It's about valuing the journey of learning itself. When you praise the process, you are teaching the brain to value the very things that lead to growth. Hard work, trying new approaches, and bouncing back from setbacks. Here are some examples of the shift. Instead of, "You got an A on the test, you're brilliant." Try, "You really studied hard for that test and your improvement shows it. It's awesome to see how your new study methods led to that result." Instead of, "I'm a genius for solving that." Try, "I'm proud of the strategies I used to solve that. I'm glad I didn't give up when it got difficult." Instead of, "You are such a good artist." Try, "I love the way you kept working on that drawing, trying different colors until you got it right. Your focus was incredible." This isn't just about being nice. It's about being effective. When you acknowledge the grit it took to achieve something, you reinforce the core belief of a growth mindset. Your success comes from your actions, and you can always control and improve your actions. This builds a durable, resilient confidence based on what you, not a fragile ego based on what you supposedly. It creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Prescription number 3. Seek and embrace a challenge. A virus thrives by keeping its host weak and isolated. The fixed mindset does the same thing. It makes you run from challenges to avoid the possibility of failure. It whispers that if you don't try, you can't fail, preserving the illusion of competence. To build your immunity and inoculate yourself against this fear, you have to do the opposite. You must intentionally and regularly seek out manageable challenges. This doesn't mean you should try to climb Mount Everest tomorrow. It means finding something that is just outside your current comfort zone and giving it a real try. This is the principle of desirable difficulty. The challenge should be hard enough that you might not succeed at first, but not so hard that it's completely demoralizing. Maybe it's offering to lead a small 5-minute segment of a team meeting. Maybe it's finally sitting down to learn the first 3 chords on that guitar that's been collecting dust. Maybe it's taking a class on a subject you've always told yourself you're bad at. The goal isn't to succeed immediately. The goal is to get comfortable with the feeling of struggle and to reframe what it means. That feeling of discomfort, of not knowing, of being a beginner, that isn't a red flag that you're an imposter. That is the feeling of your brain building new connections. That is the feeling of growth itself. Every time you step into that zone of discomfort, you are literally forging new neural pathways. By actively and repeatedly seeking out these small challenges, you provide your brain with concrete proof that you are capable of expanding your own abilities. You learn to see challenges as opportunities, not threats. You start to crave the very feeling you once ran from, because you now understand it's the sign that you're getting stronger. These aren't just feel-good ideas, they're evidence-based mental tools that can genuinely change your relationship with motivation and achievement, but they only work if you use them. So, here's a challenge for you right now. In the comments below, share one symptom of the fixed mindset you recognize in yourself. Is it avoiding challenges? Fearing feedback? Believing effort is a bad sign? And then, practice prescription number 1. Write down the fixed mindset statement you tell yourself, and then rewrite it with the word "yet" at the end. Just naming the virus and taking the first step to rewiring the thought is a huge step toward beating it. So, what does life look like once you're cured of the mindset virus? What is the prognosis for someone who actively cultivates a growth mindset? It's a life where your potential is no longer a fixed, predetermined destination you have to prove you deserve, but an open road you get to build yourself, mile by mile. The quiet, chronic fear of being found out or exposed as a fraud is replaced by a genuine passion for finding out what's possible. You start to truly understand in your bones that who you are today is just your starting point. Obstacles that once looked like insurmountable walls now look like stepping stones. Interesting problems to be solved. Criticism that once felt like a personal attack now feels like a gift of useful information, data you can use to improve. The success of others stops sparking envy and starts serving as inspiration and a source of valuable lessons. Your motivation is no longer a fragile flame, easily snuffed out by one gust of wind, by one failure. It becomes a durable, self-sustaining fire, fueled by the very act of trying, learning, and making progress. You build real, lasting resilience because you know deep down that setbacks aren't the end of the story. They are part of the plot. You become a true lifelong learner, not because you feel you have to, but because you discover the deep, genuine joy of expanding your own abilities.